Perfect fit closets. How to add line-to-line dimensions. In our 2020 designs, I already have my software open and I designed some closet models in it. So I will proceed to add my line-to-line dimensions. So I'll go underneath the annotations tab, line to line, and start with this elevation here. I will zoom in to have more precision there. So I'll click and add the dimension between the bottom of the top shelf and my closet rod. And I will again click on line to line to measure or add the line to line dimension between the top of my closet rod and the top of the fixed shelf to make sure what is my opening and confirm with my customer if this works for them, or depending on their height and the design of their clothes. But before I proceed to add all these line-to-line dimensions, going back and forth clicking here, I will proceed to add a shortcut to my line-to-line, and I will do it in here. If you see this little line and arrow, so it's called Customize Quick Access Toolbar. I will click in there, go to More Commands, Keyboard Shortcuts at the very bottom here, click on Customize. Under Categories, I will find my annotations, click on that one, and on Commands, I will find my line-to-line dimension. I will click in there, and they're here in the Press New shortcut key. I will click in the blank space. I want to use my F2 as my shortcut key. Click on F2, so it shows assign to, and it says unassign, so I'll have to click on assign. And my current key for my line-to-line dimension underneath annotations is F2. I will close this, click on OK. And now instead of going here all the time, I will just press F2 and my mouse is highlighted there. So I'll measure here. Again, I'll press F2. So every time instead of going here, I'll just press F2 and my line-to-line dimension will pop up. So here I will measure from the bottom of my top shelf to the bottom of my shoes, slanted shoes. That's what they are, just to show the space in between them, just to allow for like shoes to fit in there, and then my space in between these two shelves in here. And the more dimensions you add, the more clear it will be for your installer and even for your customer to review this design and approve it to make sure all the heights are correct based on their needs, and for the installer to know exactly the distance and the space and where you want to add that specific shelf, that rod, so they're not wondering or asking during installation. That will save some time and money to everyone involved. So I'll proceed and go to elevation 2 and measure from the bottom of my shelf to the top of the shelf in here for this opening that I can fit in there, to make sure if the customer wants to fit something specific, basket, purse, or whatever, to make sure that it will fit in that spacing. And this section for long hanging, that can be between 60 and 65. Again, if you specify, add that dimension, they will know and confirm if that works for them, depending on their height, and if it's for a long dress or a short, if that works, or if they require it to be higher. So here I'll add all my dimensions here. And for example, here I have a door, so I have to zoom in to make sure I don't take, so my whole opening is 28 and a quarter, for example. And if I want to measure the actual height of my door, I can do it here too. If I zoom in, I'm able to see that, yeah, this is just the shelf and this line is for the door. So up to you how much information you want to add there, but um, the more the better. So here I have this adjustable shelf. One is oops, I'll click outside the drawing and go back there. Okay, so between my shelves, I have 14 inches in one side, in the upper section, and 13 and a half. That's perfect there. And here, this opening is 15 and 5/8. I can move this one here just to leave the openings in the center. And for these drawers, we usually add both dimensions. This one for the drawer front and this dotted line for the actual drawer box. And I add them to all of them. Again, just to be more clear for the installer, because all of them are different, so they know and they don't mix match, because one can be pretty similar and then install it in the wrong position. Anything can happen, just we're trying to avoid mistakes and provide the more information we can. And this will help also for you to review and make sure everything is designed correctly, because it's the responsibility of the designer to make sure all the measurements are correct. Everything will fit before they submit this to the order desk. Again, we don't need all these dimensions to put an order. This is more for your installer, as later on you will print these plan views and this will work as your blueprint. And even for approval, if you want to present this to your customer and use it as your sign off that they agree and they approve your design with the exact measurements that you're proposing there. That will be helpful too. So here I have some spacing between that accessory and the shelf. So I have a variance there of 7/8 and 1 and 5/16. So my actual accessory is installed, let's say, at 27 and 5/16 from the bottom shelf, just to make sure the pants allow for the height when you fold them and hang them in there. And these sides are equal. If you want to, you can leave it or just add all the dimensions depending on your preference and time. So I have all my dimensions, my line to line dimensions in my elevation. And if I go to my plan view here, a lot of dimensions populate there. So I'll just add, we always add one more that is in the plan view to show how deep the models are, especially when you have different depths. So they know there's a section of 24 inches if you have one, and so on. So here I will just proceed to clean this a little bit just to show you here. So I right click on the dimension and click on height. Sometimes these are tricky and they don't let you select them and delete them. You can also right click and delete one by one. On this side, I want to keep this one, that is the overall dimension, and probably just keep this one here. Yeah. So I will just, instead of doing it one by one, I will right click and select auto dim continuous intermediary length 97.5 and click on hide, and that should help you save some time. I'll do the same with this one, and I'll do the same with this one, and just keep this. So I have that there. Then I'll go and delete all this. Right click and the continuous one, click on hide. Do the same with this one. For this, I think I will just keep the overall and then my opening on each one. So I'll skip that one there. Click on hide. This one, click on hide. Same thing here. I'll just leave this one and delete all this. Right click, hide, right click, the continuous one and hide. And I can move this overall dimension a little bit in and out to the left just to make it closer. And here I left click. Sometimes, as I said, it's tricky. That's why I left this one for last. So I'm trying right click and hide, and it's not working. And I'll try with the right click. It worked this time. That one worked. And hopefully this one work. Yes. But then I'm missing this dimension here that got deleted. So on this side at the end, we're just we kept the opening dimensions. So I'll just stick with that so we can go on with the video. So my opening for that model there is 24 inches. I will right click to move this line. So the right extension line, just to make it equal as the other side, and then the left extension line. And I have it there. And because it got deleted too, I will just add my overall dimension for this one. So I have all the same dimensions added. I'll zoom in just to make sure, yeah, it got green. So that's my wall between walls. So I'll do the same in here. There you go. So I have from inside wall to inside of the wall. I'll move it, right click, right extension, left extension line, just move it with your mouse. And for now, that's all for my line to line dimensions. If you want to add more, up to you. If you want to add the interior dimensions or anything else that you add, you're welcome to do it. That's how we usually add our line to line dimensions and how we created our shortcut to make it faster. If you have any questions about line to line dimensions and how to create keyboard shortcuts, please contact us at support@perfectfitcanada.com. Thank you.